Airstream song, Airstream song. Cruising to the campsite singing our song. Airstream song, Airstream song. We are the Airstream nerds.
This is Jeff from Airstream Nerds, and I'm getting ready to update the audio and video in our Airstream. So first thing I've done is I've bought a Bose Solo 5 to use as a speaker for the TV as opposed to the unit that's in there. And I bought this Samsung 5 series. It's the UN32J5500. Basically, I bought this because I have right around 29 inches from the edge of the wall in my camper to where the refrigerator handles are. So let me go ahead and open this up and be right back. So this is the original screen out of the living room area of my Airstream. It's the UN28H4000. Now, if you look at the link below, I've gone over installing the Apple TV hard. It's actually attached to the back of this, so it's not Velcro or anything. It's not coming off, and I got everything hooked up. Now, Airstream Factory has added this plug on here, and I'm not sure why they did it other than the headphone jack output should have worked fine, other than maybe they thought the jack stuck out too far or something like that. I'm really not sure why they put the RCAs directly to the board, but since I'm changing to the Bose speaker uses the optical output, which the new screen has as well. So I'm going to take all this stuff off. I'm going to start with the mount here. I'm going to put the mount onto the new screen next. It should be, actually I take that back, it is not a plug and play. This mount uses the 100 by 100 screw pattern. This one looks like much wider, so I think what I'm going to do is get a piece of plastic or something to mount the two mounts together. Because as you can see, the difference is you have the LAN output. This has got Wi-Fi built in. We have 3 HDMIs instead of 2 on the other one. Also a USB on the side for hooking up a camera or something, which might be handy. On the TV, on the family room side, this is accessible from the camper. This is the window side of the back. And of course the antenna in is here for the coax that's in there. I'm trying to get this installed before we head to Florida in a few weeks. So let me figure out a mounting method here, and I'll be right back. So I got the plate that I needed from Amazon. It's essentially a plate that's going to allow me to use the 200 by 200 pattern that's on the back of the new TV. See the holes on the new Samsung are here and here. These are the mounting holes for the bracket. And on the old TV, they're using a much smaller. So if I want to use the same bracket, which is this one, I needed some way to attach it to these holes. So it's pretty simple. The plate has 4 holes that are dimpled, the 100 by 100s, and so they're dimpled, so that's going to allow me to use a screw and a nut. Now all the pieces and parts are provided, nuts and washers, and they're lock nuts, and so I'm just going to put this together and mount the plate on, and then we'll be all set. I also removed the bracket for the Apple on here as well, and I'm going to have to take this apart and mount the Apple TV bracket back to it. So first thing I'm going to do is mount this to the plate. Test fit the bracket on the TV to make sure in the camper that this is that's centered. I haven't done any measuring to find out if I got enough room from these screws to the window that the TV is going to fit, or do I need to move the bracket on the inside the camper over some to make this larger screen fit. So I'm going to put this on first, like I said, take it over to the camper, see how it fits in there, and then continue on by taking the back off like in my other video and reattaching the bracket for the Apple TV. Alright, so I wasn't sure, so I really wasn't paying attention. I wanted to make sure that with this plate mounted that when it's attached back to the existing stock mount, that these lock nuts would actually clear, and they do by a lot. One thing to tell you, that this mounting plate does not come with attaching screws for the TV itself. As I might have mentioned in some of my other videos, I do audio video installations and stuff as a career, so I have tons of extra parts, and I happen to have, you know, some mounting screw kits from other installs left over. So I got these screws. Now I can do two things. I can put them in and then use these spacer type things of the right thickness. Now I got a bunch of random ones here. I'll find the right size that I need, so I'm not going too far. But I'll actually put them, I'll probably put them on between the screw and the plate. That way I don't extend the depth of the TV. But these will also allow me to have a place where I can bring the power cable over and attach to, do some wire management back here with the various things. So I'm going to put those on. I did a basic measurement. It looks like I might be alright from left to right. I may have to move the existing plate in down a little bit because I've got the curve in here, but I'll figure that out in a minute or two. So as you can see, this upper corner is hitting in the curve there, so I can kind of get it stuck into the mount, but I mean, you can see the final line is the edge of the TV is going to be right at the edge of the refrigerator door, so it's not going to stick out too far. It's a much bigger screen than it was, so it's going to turn out pretty good. So all I've really got to do is take the bracket that's up there and shift the whole bracket to the edge here. So I'm going to pull these screws out one at a time. I'm going to recess them. I'm going to countersink the hole and put them a little bit in. Then I can move the whole bracket over to the edge and do a little measuring first, obviously, and just make sure that I'm clear there. So I'm going to do that next. Okay, so I've taken the plate off, and I was going to take these screws right here and I was going to countersink them, but I'm not really sure how much room I have behind this panel, and it would seem like it's going to be a lot of work to try to figure that out. So instead, I've taken this piece of paper and I've set it up here on the thing, and I've rubbed it with a pencil to basically locate where the screws are, and where as you can see, the line is where the edge of the paper is. So I'm going to transfer that back in my shop to this, and I'm going to drill 3 holes here. It's not going to affect this. This is nice thick aluminum. It's not going to affect the holding power of it or anything, but what it'll allow me to do is it'll allow me to mount it right here, right on the edge. Based on my test fit, I think all I need is, you know, a half an inch to get my screen there. So I'm going to shift it over, drill some pilot holes for the 6 screws, the top ones and the bottom ones, and mount it back up there and then test my screen again. I'm going to try that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I used the Unibit and I've made the holes bigger. As you can see, the screws are not exposed anymore and I have enough play to get this thing mounted. So I'm going to drill some pilot holes in the old mounting brackets, old mounting screws in the bracket, and I'm going to mount this back up and test it. Alright, so bracket is back up. Make sure you put the locking mechanism back on. Remember, this thing just flips around and keeps the TV from bouncing out of its mount. Now I'm going to see if my guesstimate was right. I really didn't do it scientifically. I put the TV up here. It seemed to be hitting right here. It seemed it was just a little bit off in the for the post to go in here. So I moved it over as far as I could without replacing this board. I really didn't hurt anything trying this, but let's see how it worked out. Alright, TV fits just good. I moved it over that 1/2 inch 3/4. I've got a nice little gap here. Plenty of room to lift the TV up and out without messing up the interior skin. I didn't raise the height any because I'm going to put the play bar on. Now, I haven't really decided if I'm going to put the bar on the bottom or up at the top. I'm thinking I'm going to put it up on the top, but I'm going to go get it and I'm going to just eyeball it, set it up there and see how it looks. I've got custom brackets that I bought for the Bose soundbar, so I'm going to try that. Alright, so here's the soundbar that I picked. It's the Bose Solo 5. It has Bluetooth capabilities, so not only are we going to have a soundbar connected to the TV, but we are also going to be able to send music up to the soundbar from any of our devices. Or actually not just music, but anything. So it comes with a play bar, which I'll unwrap in a second. Optical cables, the dreaded power block, which I'll mount to the back of the TV somehow. A power cord, the directions, and that's a power cord for the DC block. And it also comes with a all-in-one remote that will allow me to control several of the devices, including the Blu-ray, DVD player, things like that. So this is going to be pretty handy. I was thinking about putting a custom remote that I have throughout my house, a company RTI, which I'm a dealer for, and I can program and everything. So it would be expensive, but it would be a lot less than if I was to hire someone to do it. But this one here seems pretty cool. It's got functions for cable and SAT, Blu-ray, DVD, game, TV, auxiliary, and the Bluetooth mode. So it looks like you can put several devices on it. So I'll see if I can do an Apple TV. We'll see. I haven't looked anything up, but it's kind of cool. It's a nice size. It'll be nice to get rid of the Blu-ray remote, the TV remote, the Apple remote, all the damn remotes. Anyway, so that is the accessories. So this is the Bose Solo 5. I picked it not because of the brand. A lot of people don't like Bose. A lot of people love Bose. I bought it because it'll fit and it'll serve a couple of purposes. I'll show it next to the TV here in a second. It's got several inputs. All right, you have the power here. You got a coax audio input, optical, and a standard. This is the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, right and left, similar to what's output of our stock TVs. And it also has a service USB port, which you can use for firmware updates and things like that. So I made sure I purchased a TV that had optical out, So I'm going to connect the audio output of the TV, go into the menu systems, and turn off the volume of the internal speakers, and this will automatically turn on when the TV turns on, or of course when you use the remote. But what I like about it is it's smaller than the TV. As you can see, I got a couple of inches on each side, and once I'm all said and done, the depth here is relatively equal. So as you can see, it's just, I mean, it's pretty damn level from the screws that came with it that I put the spacers in. And you, like I said earlier, you can use these black spacers if you happen to have a ton of them. These come with every TV mount, and I just have tons of them, so that's what I used. Or hell, you can just buy a pile of fender washers or whatever fits on there until you can get those screws snugged. Or, you know, worst come to worst, you go buy shorter screws, cut these screws off, you know, whatever your flavor is. But I kept them on mainly because it'll give me a place to possibly tie wires onto, just to neaten stuff up. And I think it may work out because of the mounting brackets I bought. Now, I haven't tried these yet, but of course where I get most of my stuff, I bought this on Amazon. It's just mounted, it's a soundbar bracket. Read the reviews. The reviews basically said that, there's the model number right there. The reviews said that it actually works well with this particular soundbar. So the brackets are shaped like this. So I quite possibly could mount it something like that. I may end up making some custom holes based on this. I've really got to figure out how the best way to do this. I could also mount it this way, or there's all kinds of, as you can see from the little diagram here. It comes with two brackets. It comes with some screws. Which comes with a little, as most mounts do, comes with a bunch of different screws, washers, some more of these black spacers. I mean, I use these little black spacers for all kinds of things. And some directions here. I'm going to figure out the best way to lay this. I want my soundbar at the top of the TV. I thought it looked better since this area is up against the rounded part. I like the way that it's stepped up. It's kind of, it's not rounded, but it's stepped off. So it kind of has that nice angle that blends in with the side of the Airstream. It's black. It matches the TV. Plus, if it's down on the bottom, I could have issues with somebody sitting in front of it or something like that. Anyway, so let me test fit, figure out how these brackets are going to work, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I got the brackets on. It's about 3 3/16 from each side. I haven't done any of the wiring, obviously. I did put the power cord in because it's under the bracket, and I basically just took the bracket and I pulled it up. It's touching the back of the power cord, but it's not pressing against it real hard. I don't want to damage by pushing too hard on it, but so I bent it up. As you can see, I did drill extra holes. These holes weren't there before. I just use a unibit, drill through the hole, makes it a little bigger. It steps up, step drill. There's all kinds of different names for it. Now, as I'm installing these things, I like that it's got this slot here. Not just because of the ability to adjust it, but there's several good locations to tie wiring to as I wire up everything under here. I can tie the wires down like the power cord. I can run that underneath and tie it off real nice and make everything real pretty back there like I like to do. Now, as you can see, there is not really any gap. The soundbar is sitting on top of the TV. Let me stand this up and you can see what it looks like. There you go, soundbar and the TV together. You can see it sticks out just a little bit, probably, I don't know, half an inch or so, maybe 3/4. Not enough that I'm concerned about it. It's secondary reason why I want it on top is because, bouncing down the road, it's not hanging and shaking. It's sitting on top of the screen, which is bolted in. Maybe in the bedroom I'll do it down low, but haven't got to there yet, so who knows what I'll do. Anyway, so it looks like I got everything. So once I get this thing test mounted, I gotta then find out where the Apple TV can go. The remote sensors is somewhere right in this area, so I'm going to test fit it back in here, maybe a little bit lower, down like this level, and hope that the reflection, maybe I have to tilt it like that a little bit so the reflection can hit it and control it still with the remote. So not only did I have to worry about the power cord here, but when I first put it in with only the spacers I had, when I screwed the screw down, it pushed a lot on the back of this TV. So you're kind of limited to the length of your screws, but I put an extra washer. I took one of the black spacers out, which, this little black, probably 3/16 of an inch thick washer. I had 3 of those, but now I took it out and I just put a metal washer that's probably half that thickness and 2 of those black ones in here. What that did was raised it enough that this wasn't pushing down on the back of the TV. And you definitely don't want to do anything when you're mounting stuff on the back to push the back of the TV. I've had several installs where Samsung comes with special. Alright, so larger Samsung TVs, they come with these little looking spaceship looking things. Now, where the mounting screws are on the back of the TV on some larger Samsung models, these things fit right into it. Reason is the screws have a spacer, and that's anchored to where you can push on this and you can pull on it, and it's not going to damage your TV. That's why that you can only screw these in certain spots. On the larger Samsungs where they have the little cups, you put these in, because if you don't and you just use a screw in there, when your mounting bracket like this, or some mounting brackets just have arms, when those things go in, it pushes this down. And I've had a couple customers where they had them installed by somebody else, and it actually damaged the TV, because not all of this is plastic. There is some metal on the underside on some of these screens, and most of the Samsungs are plastic now, but there were some models in the past that had these that there was lots of metal in the back, like shielding and stuff. And when the installer put the thing on, the rails on, they squeezed it down and it shorted out the TV, and the owner couldn't ever figure out why the TV kept cutting off. When I came out, I noticed these weren't installed. I also noticed some indentions where the brackets were, and so you want to be very careful when you're mounting TVs that you do not damage the internals. I mean, you can see right here how easy that is to flex, and if you didn't have these in the right place, or you take this bracket and you're not spacing it enough to clear this, then you could damage your TV before you even turn it on. Also, I could have just taken it and cut it off right here, but I like these places here also to bring my wires to tie them to, and they don't hang down below it. You're not going to see them, and I knew that I had enough room to space it out. Anyway, just a little tip. I'm going to get this thing test fit, and we should be all set. So when we do the wiring, I want to keep the audio and video cabling away from the power cabling. So most of the time that is important, but in this particular case, optical cable, Toslink, is a glass fiber strand, and it's not affected by any type of EMF caused by power. So you're not going to get any interference or any hum or anything like that from that, unless there's an issue with the device itself. So I'm going to not be too concerned about whether it's connected or not, or whether it's side by side or whatever. So, but I do want to keep it from bouncing around, from sticking out from behind the screen, all that fun stuff. So as I run my wires, I got to keep in mind that that all this stuff is going to be in a moving vehicle, bouncing around. I don't want it to get disconnected. I don't want to have a lot of weight on the connection, even though this is really light, but the HDMIs aren't. So what I'm going to intend to do is get the HDMIs run in such a way to where the weight isn't on the connector. It's probably tied off here or something like that. So I've got the optical cable basically how I want it. Just also remember that this is a glass strand, so you really can't bend it like you can copper. You can basically break the strand if you bend it too sharp. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to try to get everything tied in for this right here. And then I'm going to get the power. So this one cable is my audio connection from my TV and any device plugged into the TV. So when we set up the Bose soundbar, you'll see all that. But right now, what I want to do is try to keep this thing from sticking too far out, while at the same time kind of protecting it. Keep it underneath. So that is about all I can do. It's solidly in. It's not too sharp of a turn, and it's nice and clean. I'm a fan of that because you're going to be able to look behind the TV as you walk down the lobby. Anyway, so I'm going to continue this with the power for the Bose, the power for the TV, and I'll be right back. So I have this plug, and my intention, it can be rotated both ways, and what I want to do is I'm going to plug everything this way. Don't really like this flimsy cable, so I'm actually going to replace it. It feels like this piece here is broke, but anyway. So here's the HDMI that's run to the back. Run to the DVI or DVD player, Blu-ray player in there. This is going to run across and plug in to the back of my TV. These are the old audio cables that are no longer needed because I am not connecting this into the radio system over there. Did I even get that? Yeah, I got that. So I'm going to install this. I'm going to mount it on there. I'm going to see power's on the correct side, so I could probably just tie a bunch of this wire down here, you know, put it in here, tie it off, and just leave enough to connect it. So I just want to kind of get a test fit to get an idea of spacing. So as you can see there, these two little pins go into these two little key slots. And lock down. Once done, it's going to be more difficult now, but you're going to try to change that, flip that over to keep it from lifting up. So there's the way it looks. It's going to work out nice. We have TV sticks out just a little bit, but not enough to cause any issues. The HDMIs are going to be plugged in here. Like I said, you can see back in there, so I want to keep things kind of nice. It's nice that the loop here for the optical cable is not pressing against the wall in the back, so there's no pressure on that connector. There's plenty of room back here. I may even be able to connect the Apple TV over to here like before. So now I've got the wiring kind of tied in neatly. I got all the power on this side. Like I showed you earlier, the optical cables run down through here. I got the Apple TV attached. The power is running down through here. The power block is over here where the three plugs are going to go. I got the excess HDMI for the Apple TV coiled up in the middle here. I'm hoping we have clearance on this stuff. There is a little play this can push. I got it plugged into 3. Everything should fit. The only question I have is whether this piece and this piece bump out too far. But I think based on the clearance that I had here earlier, that this is going to be all right. Second concern I have is this cable here with the plate. And then the only other thing that I'm not sure about is if I have good reflection to actually control my Apple TV. So it's pretty much done. I'm going to take this back in. I'm going to fashion a way to grab the lock, and I'm going to check that out real quick. May end up taking it back off, maybe drilling a little hole in it and putting a string or something like that on it so I can easily pull it one side or the other and just drop the string back here when not in use. Anyway, I'll be right back and should have a working TV. Okay, so everything is in place. Everything is tied up. I've tested it. Wires are connected in the back here. It looks good. Put a little light back there so you guys can see. So I've got the wires connected here to the HDMI. I've got the cable TV connected. I've already programmed the TV. I don't get great service around here, but I've also programmed the remote control, and I put the Apple TV where I thought it would be good. Works just fine, as you can see. If I switch the input on the TV, still haven't really mastered the remote, but I do know that it works. It works the Blu-ray player. I've programmed. Here's the remote. For those of you that are interested in seeing, it's got all the, the buttons and so forth. It's very easily programmable. I've got it for the Apple TV, the Blu-ray player. And the cool part about this whole thing is the audio is also Bluetooth. So very easy. You press the button on the remote, switches to Bluetooth mode. You put on your phone or whatever your Bluetooth doing to it, and the audio is very, very good. There's a bass adjustment. You can turn the bass up. So now, this problem is solved, and I'm going to remove some weight. I'm going to remove this piece of crap from here. Not a fan. And I'm going to pull the speakers out, and they have covers that you can put on in their place, and that'll just free up some space, take a little bit of weight out. No reason to have the stuff in here. There's also a subwoofer under the floor. I'm probably going to pull that at some point. I'll probably end up making a pocket out of that little, where the car stereo is that's installed in here. I'll probably make a little pocket in there for glasses or something like that, or our phones or wallet, or just another place, like where you hang keys or whatever. There, I'm going to make a little pocket over there to put other stuff in that you want to grab when you're running out. But anyway, highly recommend the Bose Solo 5, and a much larger screen. 36 inches, fits real nice. I'll see you on the next trip.